Hello pattern lovers, you're welcome and welcome back. It's yet another exciting tutorial, and in today's video we'll be drafting this gorgeous blouse with scallop design, halter neck, backless, v neckline and so much more. So if you're interested in that, do watch this video to the end and let's get straight to it. Here on my pattern paper, I already marked out a space for front and back, and this part will be for the front and this part the back. Then we have the shoulder line. Now from the shoulder line, I'm going to go down first to my bust point line, then to my under bust, to my waistline, and then to the hip line. The hip line will be the length of this blouse. Okay, I'm going to mark the same thing here from shoulder to the bust point line, from shoulder to the under bust line, from shoulder to the waistline, and from shoulder to the hip line. Then I'm going to mark them out this way and label them bust point line, under bust line, waistline, and the hip line. Now on the shoulder line, I'm going to mark the shoulder measurement divided by 2. Then I'll be going down to my chest line. And on that point again, I'm going to mark the shoulder measurement divided by 2. Then I'm going to just rule it out like this. Next, I'm going to mark 3 inches here as my neck width. And then I'll be coming down here to 1.5 to slope the shoulder. Then connect the shoulder to that 3 inches like this. Next, I'm going to get the midpoint of this line. And once I have it, I'll be going in the 1/2 inch. Then come to the chest line and take the bust measurement divided by 4 and use these 3 points as a guide to connect the armhole like this. And this is what it's looking like. The next thing I'll be doing now is to get the bust band. I'll mark it on the bust point line and also on the hip line. That's the nipple to nipple divided by 2. Then I'm going to use my ruler to connect it like this. Then for my dart intake, I'll be doing 0.75 on both sides of this bust band line on the waistline. Then I'll take it down to the hip line like this. Then come here and mark 1 inch coming to the side and 0.75 going to the center this way. Then I'm going to be connecting these 3 darts on both sides. And after connecting from the under bust down, I'm going to curve from the under bust upwards on both sides this way. The next thing I'll be doing now is to take the waist measurement divided by 4 plus the dart intake. I'll replace it. Then I'll come down to the hip line, take the hip measurement divided by 4 plus the dart intake, then plus extra 1 inch. You see that the blouse is not fitted on the hip line, yeah? So you're going to add 1 inch to your measurement. Then I'll go ahead and connect the measurements like this. Now I'm going to come down here to 1.5 because that's the difference between my front length and the back length. Then I'll connect it to the bust band this way. Then I'll go ahead and get the midpoint of the shoulder line, and once I have it, I'm going to connect it to the bust band just like this. The next thing now is to do the shoulder tightening, and I'm going to be separating the 2 patterns like the front and back this way, and then I'll go ahead and slash through the bust dart all the way to the bust band, slash through the midpoint line of the shoulder this way, and then I'll go ahead and close the bust dart. You see the slashed one, just go ahead and place it on the bust point line and then hold it down temporarily. Now I'm going to come to the shoulder and measure from here to here, and whatever it is I measured, I'm going to divide it by 4. I have 3 inches and 3 divided by 4 is 0.75. So I'm going to just come here and mark that same 0.75 and connect it to the bust point just this way. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to be replacing this dart. I'll start from this shoulder tip and go out to that same 0.75, then come down here to 1.5 that I used to slope the shoulder earlier. Now I'm going to connect from that point to the midpoint of the armhole curve and curve from that midpoint to the bust width this way. So we no longer need the previous armhole. Then I'm going to open up the bust dart just as you can see me do it here, so I can be able to close this one. I'll place the slashed one on this other dart line and then go ahead and use my water glue to hold it down or close it permanently. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to connect the shoulder slope from the shoulder tip to the 3 inches neck width I'm using, and this is what it's looking like. Now I'm going to be placing my curve like you see me doing it here and give it that princess seam line. I'll take it to the midpoint of the armhole curve, and after that, this is what it's looking like. The next thing we'll be doing now is to do the neckline, and I have 3 inches neck width here. From that point, I'll be going out to 1.75. You can do 1.5 if that is how wide you want it. Then I'm going to curve from that point to the bust width, placing my curve this exact way you can see me do it. Once I'm done, this is what it's looking like. But then this is likely to gape if you leave it like this. So I'm going to be doing just about half inch tightening, starting from the princess seam line I have here. I'll be going out, I think I did 0.75. Then I'm going to place my curve like this and reconnect the princess seam line. Once I'm done with that, I'll throw the that lines, just like make sure that they are equal, so that when joining you won't have any shortage anywhere. From this throwing now, I'm going to place my curve like this and recurve the armhole. And yeah, this is what it's looking like. We'll be cutting out this part. Now I'm going to be joining a paper here. I'll use my water glue to just join them together like this, then cut off, just basically make this part straight. Then from the shoulder line, I'm going to go down to my neck depth of 6 inches, place my curved ruler like this because this is not a sharp V. Okay, so you're going to just make it a bit curvy, and this is what it's looking like. Then I'm going to take it from that neck width all the way up like this, and on that point I'll be going up to 3.5. Then on that 3.5, I'm going to mark the same 1.75 I have here, and marking it, this is what it's looking like. I'm now going to like blend it in, connect it to the curve I already have, that outer curve line, and this is what it's looking like. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to mark my 3.5 there because I just want this to wrap very well my neckline. I don't want any excess, so I'm maintaining the same 3.5 I have on the other line. And yeah, this is what it's looking like. Then I'm going to use this part of my curve to blend in this part, and after doing that, I'm going to use my marker to like highlight the vital points of this upper part or the neckline. And after I was done doing that, this is what it's looking like. So we are going to be cutting this. First, I'll be closing the bust dart permanently, and to do that, I'm going to open up the waist dart all the way to the bust point this way. Then go ahead and apply my water glue here and place this slashed paper on this other bust point line, and then I'm going to be blending in the side seam like you see me doing it here. Then I'll go ahead and cut the rest of the pattern out just as you can see me do it here. So yo, I actually forgot while doing this pattern. I was supposed to like trace out for the funnel corset, yeah, the corset that is on top. I was supposed to do that before cutting, but yeah, I forgot. But all hope is not lost, so you can still do it. But first, let's work on the hemline, the scallop hem design. I'm going to tape this paper down this way, then measure what I have here on the hemline, and whatever it is I have, I'm going to divide it into two equal halves and get the midpoint of those two equal halves. Do you understand? So here now, on this part, I'll be going up 1 inch. You can do 1.5 if you want it higher or more pronounced, yeah, and 1 inch too on this other one. Then I'm going to be curving it out like this. Can you see that? I'm going to curve it from the center to this one, and once I have a perfect curve, I'm going to fold my paper from the, that's like from the midpoint that I measured earlier. Do you understand? Just fold it nicely, make them equal on both ends, and then you're going to just cut out on this one that you, this design that you just use your pencil to mark out. And after doing that, this is what it's looking like. Now I'm going to be placing it like this on a fresh paper and trace it out. This is why I said I should have done this before now, but yeah, it's not bad if I also do it now. After arranging it properly, yeah, at this point you can decide to just go ahead and close it on that outer neckline, or let's just call it the armhole. Yeah, just close it there, then trace every other part, or better still, you just trace it out like you see me doing it here. And after cutting, you now go ahead and close it there, whichever one, but closing it there would help you get that scallop design better. Don't know if you understand, but yeah, I'm going to carefully trace it out and also trace out the neckline and the no, the under bust line and the waistline. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to take out all this tape, the masking tape, yeah, and go ahead and highlight the waistline, the under bust on both sides. Then I'll go ahead and cut it out. You see that I didn't bother tracing out the neckline because we do not need that. Okay, so I'm going to cut it out like you see me doing it here, and after cutting it out, so now go ahead and work both on the hemline. You see that this one is shorter than the actual blouse. Do you understand? So we are going to be working with that. And at this point, just go ahead and close it on the princess seam line. It will be easier for you to work with it that way. Then you're going to be marking a slanting line. Mine is going towards the underbust line, which is not supposed to be so. Yeah, it's supposed to be about 2 inches above the underbust line. But yeah, you're going to have a slanting line this way. And once you are done marking it out, you're going to be marking intervals. The first one I marked 1.75, the second one 2 inches, the third one 2.5, and the fourth one I think it's also about 3 inches. So yeah, we have these points or these intervals. Then I'm going to be getting the midpoint of them, each of them. They are not the same measurement, so I'm going to be getting the midpoint separately, like you see me doing it here. So go ahead and get the midpoint. And once I'm done with the midpoint, I'm going to be going up on those intervals, or yeah, this midpoint, this one that I highlighted well. I'll go up half inch on the first one. On the second one, I'll go up 0.75. On the third one, I'll go up 1 inch. And then on the last one, I'll do 0.75. If you want the scallop more pronounced, you can do 1 inch on the first one, 1.25 on the second one, 1.5 on the third one, or better still, 1 inch on the first one, 1.5 on the second one, 2 inches on the third one, and 1.5 on the fourth one. Then you're going to just be using those measurements as a guide to have a scallop design like this. And like I said, this scallop design is supposed to be going to like the bust point. Yeah, it should be touching the bust point. So take note of that. Then for the hemline, I'll be going up 3 inches from the already existing scallop design I have on the hem of this blouse. Yeah, just 3 inches, making sure that I'm following the curve and shape I have there. And after marking the 3 inches, I'm going to be connecting it like this, making sure that it aligns with the one I have down, but it should be 3 inches above the actual blouse. Do you understand? Once you're comfortable with the curve and the shape you have, you're going to be cutting it out and also cut out the scallop on this part. Let's call this one the neckline. So after cutting it out, this is what it's looking like. And now we have all the patterns we need for the front ready. And it's going to be like this on this particular pattern. Okay, let's keep this aside and work on the back pattern. And for the back pattern, I'm going to just highlight the chest line, which I already have on the side of this paper. I'll mark it on the center back and connect it like this. Then I'm going to start from the shoulder again and go down to the waistline and to the hip line. Okay, I'll mark the same thing on this center back part and use my ruler to rule them out this way. Next, I'm going to be marking the bust span. I'll mark it on the chest line and also on the hip line, then use my straight ruler to connect them together. Then the next thing I'll be doing now is to take in my darts. I'll be doing half inch on both sides of this dart line. Then I'll take it upwards, the same half inch on both sides. That will be gaping that for that top line, yeah. Then I'm not doing any dart on the hip line. I'm going to connect the dart on both sides, and this is what it's looking like. Chest line, from the center back, I'll take the bust measurement divided by 4. On the waistline, the waist measurement divided by 4. I'll replace the dart intake. Then on the hip line, the hip measurement divided by 4. I did not replace any dart on the hip line and also on the top line because the dart on the top line is like a gaping dart. Then I'm going to mark 1 inch on the hemline and 1.5 on this top line and connect them. And this is what's creating a space for the lacing. Okay. Now I'm going to be doing the scallop design too on the same line. But yeah, you can just freehand this one without doing measurement. But yeah, I just like having a uniform. When it comes to something like this, I just like having it uniform. So I try to like use measurement for them to align and come out uniform. So yeah, once I'm done, I'm going to label them side back and center back, indicate the top part, then we'll go ahead and cut the pattern out. First, I'll be coming down here from the chest line 1 inch, and that should be the neck depth for this back. And once I'm done doing that, I'm going to throw the dart legs, measure this one, and make sure that this other one is the same length with that one. And then I'm going to be using my ruler to reconnect this way and then go ahead and cut out the pattern just like as you can see me do it. So the scallop design on the hemline will help indicate the top part or differentiate the down part from the top part. But yeah, I still like to indicate the top part with a notch and then the center back. And after that, I'm going to match the pattern up, match them up this way and take out any excess. So you're going to be cutting two of each of them, yeah. And then for this one, you're going to be cutting two of the center one, two of the side one, and then we have the center front, which you're going to be cutting on fold. And then the neckline is going to go around your neckline this way, and then the back, backless. And then we have the side front, which you're going to also cut two pieces of that, and please label them so that you know which one is which one. And in total, you'll be needing 11 pieces to make this blouse. So yeah, that's pretty much how you go about it for this particular pattern. You go ahead, transfer all of this to your fabric, add the necessary allowance, and happy sewing. And with that, I'll be seeing you on my next one. Bye bye.